a way to wrap up a 25-year run of the Atlanta Motor Speedway that we all know and love, with an incredible battle between the Busch brothers, two of the greatest stars in modern day NASCAR. Welcome back to another episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop. Hope y'all are having a wonderful night. My name is Jet, and we're going to recap today's 2021 Quaker State 400 from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which had an unlikely driver, someone that we did not expect to be anywhere near the front, completely flip the playoff picture upside down. Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch, they would start off the race on the front row. Chase got an incredible jump, but very quickly we realized Chase is not going to have the car to compete for the win. Kyle Busch, though, did. He kept on running that high lane, and later into the run, lap 9, lap 10, we really started to see Kyle Busch come to form, started to chase down Chase Elliott, and on lap 14, he would end up taking the lead from Chase. I think around lap 25, the competition caution then came out. Chase Elliott had a pit stop that was horrendous and fell back to the mid-20s, and that was the last time we saw Chase Elliott anywhere near towards the front. By that point in time, you had Denny Hamlin, his teammate, and Kyle Busch. They restarted the race side by side, and then on lap 31, our first real caution of the race would take place. 4 wide, back in the pack, Cody Ware just loses it, slides up, hits the 38 of Anthony Alfredo, who hits Stenhouse, who then hits the 99 of Suarez. All three spin, and Suarez and Stenhouse both slam into the inside wall. Especially with those two drivers, that is something that they did not need at all, because they are trying to fight their way into the playoffs, and they're already out of this race, and they haven't scored any playoff points, or stage points for that matter. In fact, Suarez and Stenhouse, they would end up finishing dead last, 36th for Suarez and 37th for Stenhouse. So Suarez got 2 points and Stenhouse only got 1 point, which is something you do not need when you got 5 races to go and you're trying to fight your way into the top 16. When we restart on lap 36, Kyle Busch is the leader. But it was around that time when we really started to see Kurt Busch come to form. He started, I believe, back in the 8th position and very quickly worked his way up to 2nd place, but settles to conserve his tires, which is not surprising at a track like Atlanta. You don't want to use your stuff so quickly. We did see some great battles near the end of the stage around the lower half of the top 10 between Keselowski, Byron, Larson, and Truex. And it was really weird because Hendrick, they weren't that strong. We're going to talk about Hendrick in a little bit, but they were really, for the first time this year, I feel like, they weren't a factor. But anyways, Kyle Busch wins stage 1. Chase Elliott wasn't able to recover really that much. I believe he finished 20th in the first stage, but yeah, Kyle Busch winning. Kurt Busch was still settled in 2nd, 3rd, Denny Hamlin, 4th, Alex Bowman. Bowman was the best Hendrick car, which is something you don't normally hear in 2021. Usually when you think of the best Hendrick car, you think of either Byron or Larson. Not really Alex Bowman, but he did. He was in the top 5 for majority of the race. 5th was Tyler Reddick. Not surprised to see him run well at this type of racetrack that's going to really force you to ride up against the wall, which is something we expect from Tyler Reddick. 6th, Kyle Larson. 7th, Logano. Byron 8th, Truex 9th, and Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 10. With stage 2, based on great pit stops by the number 1 team, Kurt Busch actually was able to get out ahead of Kyle Busch. Tyler Reddick, the driver that we talked about in stage 1, a driver that we expect to run well at this type of track, he made his way up to 4th. And another driver, Bubba Wallace, another one that needs to have good runs to make his way into the playoffs, he was also running strong, solidly inside the top 10. You had Alex Bowman, like I said, the best Hendrick driver of this race today, was able to hook the bottom extremely well. One of the best to do that in that race today. He was running in 2nd place, like I said, very solid inside the top 5 for the entire race. Yeah, I just want to list off those 3 drivers because they were the ones that really no one expected to run that well, but Reddick, Bowman, and Bubba had some really strong runs. However, Team Penske, they weren't all that. Joey Logano, he had an unscheduled pit stop on lap 27 of stage number 2 after reporting a left, right, rear tire rub. I should say a tire that was vibrating. He had to make an unscheduled pit stop, and that really took him out of contention. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think he stayed a lap down or 2 from that point on. But then we had the threat of rain coming in. Being at Atlanta in the middle of July in the summer, you're going to have hot temperatures and a high chance of rain. And if you look at the radar, it was sprinkling a little bit on the lens and in certain parts of the racetrack. So some drivers decided to take a gamble. Two of them were Eric Almirola and Ryan Preece. Everyone else came onto pit road halfway in stage 2. While those two drivers, Almirola and Preece, they stayed out, banking on more than likely it wasn't going to be a rain out, or at least a caution for rain to put them in great position for the second half of the stage. Especially for someone like Almirola, who is 20-something in points and needs to win in order to make it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and Kurt Busch was able, on new tires, to come back around and take the lead away from Almirola and Preece. And Kurt Busch will go on to win stage 2 with Kyle in second. So it's literally a flip-flop from stage 1. Bowman in third, Larson fourth. Fifth is Denny Hamlin. Sixth was Reddick. Seventh, Blaney. His teammate Keselowski in eighth. Austin Dillon ninth, and Truex in 10th. Stage 3 was a perfect reason as to why the track needed to be repaved at least, because right before the quad oval on the front stretch of the racetrack, the track started to come apart. Chunks and pieces of the track came apart, and it left big dents around the middle of the racing line, near the second seam, if I'm not mistaken. It was around that area, and caused a red flag for 20 minutes. This was perfect for SMI to tell us and tell the drivers, hey, this is proof that we need a repave. Which, to rebut that statement, no one is upset about the repave. Even the drivers, according to Bob Pockrass, even the drivers were even saying that a repave, they don't want it, but they understand. The reconfiguration is the part that makes no sense. But anyways, I discussed that before. I'm not going to talk about it now. But after that 20-minute red flag, we got back to racing. Kurt, Kyle, and Alex Bowman, those three drivers, they were all over each other on the restart for the first 2 or 3 laps. And they were 4 wide back in mid-pack with Kevin Harvick, Blaney, Keselowski, and those drivers. They're running 3 and 4 wide all over each other in the corners. Yeah, you're not going to get that with the new reconfiguration. Just saying. But after that settled in, we started to see the Kurt versus Kyle show. Who was the best of the Busch brothers in this race today? Kurt was out in front. He was leading all the laps, but clearly Kyle had the faster car. And according to him, he couldn't challenge because of an aero disadvantage. Obviously, with this type of package, if you want to hold someone off, just take away their line, and you're God, basically. So the 18 team had an idea. Well, if you can't pass them on the racetrack, you pass them on pit road. On lap 210, Kyle Busch pits. 1 lap later, Kurt pits, but Kyle Busch, I should say, had a much faster pit stop and was able to get out ahead of Kurt Busch to take the lead. And he was able to open up a 1.3 second lead with 45 laps to go. Okay, so Kyle Busch, he had the faster car. This is a done deal, right? Well, not so fast. Kurt actually started to close in. With 34 to go, he was down to 0.6 of a second. But me and many others were wondering maybe he's using his stuff up. By the time he gets to Kyle Busch, his car is already going to be gone. His tires are going to be worn out, and he's not going to be able to contend. Enter Ross Chastain. Shake and bake. This was the perfect example of teammates working together. So, this actually, I think, worked kind of similar, if not almost exactly, how the Atlanta race earlier this year between Logano and Blaney. Logano held up Kyle Larson. Blaney was able to catch up and take the lead. Exactly what happened here. Ross Chastain was a slower car. He was gonna be put a lap down by Kyle Busch. Entering turn 3 though, Kyle Busch goes right behind Ross Chastain. Chastain is in front of Kyle Busch, takes his lane away. Busch slows up. That allows Kurt on the inside lane to eat away at Kyle Busch's lead like instantly, able to get side by side with him as they come across the start finish line. Entering turn number 1, they made a bit of contact, still side by side. And coming off of turn number 4, with 24 to go, Kurt Busch is able to take the lead back from Kyle. Now, all right, battle's on. The question is now, can Kyle Busch get back at Kurt and take the lead? Because Kyle Busch clearly had the faster car. And with 17 to go, it looked as though that we might see part 2 of lap traffic determining who would win this race. Because by that point in time, you had William Byron and Kyle Larson about to get lapped, but they have pace, so they could potentially hold up Kurt Busch. And on top of that, you had Kyle, who was hunting Kurt Busch down. So much so that with 8 laps to go, I believe, Kyle was actually able to get alongside Kurt Busch on the inside lane. But Kurt, with the momentum up top, was able to hold his own and hold the lead. And then you had more lap traffic, more cars in the mix, and Kurt Busch was able to weave by through that much quicker than Kyle. And once that happened, it basically just sealed the deal. By that point in time, after all the lap traffic issues, Kurt had opened up his lead to about 1.2 seconds, and Kyle just simply had no more speed. He didn't have enough tire in order to keep up and contend with Kurt, and Kurt will go on to win at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for his 4th win at the track. His first win since Las Vegas back in the fall of 2020 in the playoffs. And he has won the last 2 Busch Brothers duels. That's right. Only 4 times have the Busch Brothers of Kurt and Kyle finished 1-2. 2 of those 4 wins went to Kurt, and the other 2 went to Kyle. So now we're evened up. Kurt evened up the battle. He led 144 laps. That's the most out of any driver. And he is now the 12th different winner of 2021, which means he's locked into the playoffs. And let's take a look at the playoff grid because it changed dramatically once Kurt Busch pulled into victory lane. Now there's only 4 spots up for grabs of drivers that haven't won. Hamlin still top of the board, plus 369. Kevin Harvick, plus 159. Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick. Look at the gap now. 104 for Dillon and 96 for Reddick, ahead of Chris Buescher. DiBenedetto minus 138. Chastain 145. And Bubba Wallace minus 148 with 5 races to go until the playoffs. And it's, let's just, dude, Kurt definitely, if you looked at Kurt and the state of Chip Ganassi Racing back in Charlotte, you would think there's no way they're going to be anywhere near a shot at winning. But then this race, this was the strongest I've ever seen Kurt Busch since maybe Richmond in 2015. I think that was the last time we saw Kurt be that dominant. The last few wins of Kurt's career has been races that he came out of nowhere. I think in the 2017 Daytona 500, he wasn't a factor until I think with 10 laps to go, I believe. His win at Kentucky in 2018 or 2019, out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere on a restart, or at least on an overtime run, was able to steal the win. Las Vegas, again, did not have the best car, did not lead the most laps, but he was there at the right time. But this race, this Kurt Busch was a lot different. Like I said, led the most laps with 144. He clearly had one of, if not the best car, if you can compete with Kyle Busch. But yeah, it was really cool to see Chip Ganassi show that type of speed. We didn't see it from Ross Chastain, or at least not to the extent of Kurt, but it was really cool to see Kurt Busch be able to put up the fight to his younger brother Kyle. And yeah, that was a fun race. Let's just say this. It wasn't all that. Like I'd say before that battle between Kurt and Kyle, I maybe give it a 6.5 or so. It wasn't the greatest, but it was all right. But that finish between Kurt and Kyle, those last 45 or so laps, was so much fun to watch. And it makes me miss Atlanta more and more and more. That SMI is going to just ruin this track. Again, a repave, it's understandable, but the reconfiguration. It was kind of funny because we saw a lot of moments like for example, Atlanta's going to be narrowing the track, yet we saw 3 wide and 4 wide racing on those restarts. You're not going to get that with the new reconfiguration. So I just thought that was kind of funny that a lot of the moments that we love, Atlanta's going to be taking them away, which is a shame, but oh well. Anyways, take a look at the results. You got the Busch Brothers, Kurt and Kyle, 1 and 2. Truex, his first top 5, I think, since Darlington, but the 19 team had a very roller coaster day, ups and downs a lot, but still nice 3rd place run for him. Alex Bowman, the best Hendrick driver, in 4th. 5th, Blaney. 6th, Reddick. 7th was Chase Elliott, but that team was really not there at all after he got sent to the middle of the pack after botching that pit stop. 8th, Christopher Bell. 9th, Matt DiBenedetto, and Brad Keselowski rounds out the top 10. Kevin Harvick, 11th. Again, wasn't the type of guy that did anything. It took him a while for him to even crack the top 15. At the beginning, he was stuck in the mid-20s, so he really struggled in this race today. Austin Dillon, 12th. Hamlin, 13th. His driver, Bubba Wallace, right behind him in 14th. Briscoe, 15th. Buescher, 16th. Custer, 17th. Kyle Larson. Now, he finished 18th because on that final pit stop, he was busted for speeding. That's the only reason why, but even without that, Larson really had a top 6 car, top 7 car. 18th or 19th is Joe Logano, and William Byron rounds up the top 20. I don't know what happened with Byron though. But yeah, HMS was off, really off today. Yes, Bowman was there, and he did show some speed. It showed some muscle, but that was something we haven't seen before. HMS didn't really do much. Outside of Bowman, Byron was there, Larson was there, but they didn't do anything. They were nowhere near to the likes of Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch. Even Truex showed some muscle. No one from HMS really did, except for Alex Bowman. Ross Chastain finishing 21st, Eric Almirola 23rd, Eric Jones 24th, and then some other notables you see there. Daniel Suarez, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished dead last, 36th and 37th. But yeah, like I said, I really talked about all the points on my thoughts on this race. Really enjoyed the battle between Kurt and Kyle. It is going to be very interesting how the playoffs materialize in these next 5 races. Next weekend, we're going to New Hampshire. Should be a lot of fun to watch because it's got that 750 horsepower package. Can't wait for that. And it was a nice send-off. For 25 years of racing with the Atlanta that we know and love, I think it was a nice send-off. So thank you, Atlanta, for all those years. And screw you, SMI, for messing it up once again. But that is it for this episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop. What are your thoughts on the race? Tell me in the comment section down below. Don't forget, of course, to leave a like and subscribe for more content. But until next time, my name is Jet. Congratulations to Kurt Busch, your winner of the Quaker State 400 at Atlanta.